But we are going to have an exchange between Christian and Fabio. We decided that the topic would be around the next level digital service, how financial institutions are rethinking customer experience post-COVID. Christian and Fabio, you have introduced yourself, so no need to do it again. So let's see. When maybe let me ask you, and you already discussed it a bit, so we are all looking to digitize our operations, to digitize our companies, no paper, from front office to back office. So, in your experience, do you think it's a dream, or is it something we can achieve through all the levers we discussed before, whether it's systems, people, process? So, what do you think? Do you think it's something we should we should look for, or is it just a dream? Who wants to start?
Yeah, I can go first. Thanks, Christian. Yeah, so I mean, I think it's, I mean, just the way I run my personal life, I think it's become more of a reality now, to be honest with you. I don't know if you can see, but in the background there on my printer, it's sitting actually in my cupboard. So I don't really find the need to print anything unless it's sort of maybe for the children's assignments. And, you know, I find a lot of contracts, anything we sign nowadays is all sort of done online. And I think, again, it's a wonderful opportunity for ideas to come about on how we move away totally from paper, you know, and come up with these innovative ideas to move everything sort of to make it digital and online.
Yeah. Christian?
I cannot agree more. Let's see, contracts are signed online. We send documents to the insurance companies that we are working for per email. We do the payments electronically. We do basically everything what we need to do in a digital way. So it's really no need for papers. And I can also give you an example from a previous employer, a temp work agency for students, where we originally had to open a physical office in each city where we launched our services, because we were interacting with these students. We did onboarding, some training, give them materials like health or security clothes. But then Corona came and we realized that it's not really necessary. We can do this onboarding also online. We can send by post whatever we need to send. And actually through Corona, we accelerated our expansion just because we were able to do this everything digitally. So I think it's not a dream, even if I can understand that paper could have some applications. For example, I think digital or learning might be in a different way when you read on paper, and then your brain functions a bit differently. Or direct mailing might still have a bigger impact than electronic ones. So I will not rule out the paper at all, but I would say most of the business functions can go paperless.
But that's mainly for financial institutions, right? For banks, insurance, because in our corporates, in our companies, actually the finance functions, we still have lots of papers for invoices and so on. It's reducing, but we still have some paper to deal with. But you're right. The goal should be to have no paper and be digitalized from front to back. But then, so if we have no human in the loop, how do we, so in bank, in insurance, how do we ensure compliance, because when things are automated, maybe we lose a bit of control. Is that a true statement? For example, talking about KYC, about GDPR, is automation improving or reducing compliance? Who wants to take that one? Oh, Fabio again.
Cristian, you can go first if you.
All right. I will go first. I think generally the answer is processes. We do have to be compliant in different regards. Yes, the GDPR, I think it affects everybody. We actually deal with very sensitive data. We are talking about health data. So yes, definitely it applies to us, but also issues that are typical for financial institutions. As I already mentioned, we do make payouts in cash, which means supervising such transactions and making sure that everything is compliant. But then the answer is to have the processes well put in place, meaning, of course, nobody should have access to information that is not relevant for the job, and also to have the controls that these rights are not abused. Yeah, I don't think that we eliminated the people. I think they are still there. I think all the processes should be accompanied by people. It's just that it's another type of activity. It's not the manual work, tedious work of copy pasting, I say so generally, but it's about seeing that everything is going through. So seeing that the check controls are on green, and then if needed, then intervening, but then also analyzing what happened in the end, so that you can improve your processes and deliver a better experience for the customer.
Mm-hmm. Fabio?
Yeah, I mean, I agree again with what Cristian said. I think also that what COVID has brought is as many opportunities as it has brought. It's also brought in a lot of has brought a few risks as well. Now with everything sort of going online and people picking up automation, I think it's a lot easier to get data leaks, and it's and that's why it's so important to have these controls in place. Also, people are working in sort of remote locations. There's a problem of theft. If they sort of live in a high crime area or something like that, whereas if they're in at the office, obviously it's a lot more controlled environment. So I think physical location also has quite a bit to do with that.
Okay, thank you. But then if we automate, if we have less or no paper, we still with people around, now let's talk about the customer experience. We all think we are special and we want to be dealt with as a special customer. How do we deal with? How can we show that we deal with people in a specific way while saying that everything is automated? How do you make me special as a customer?
Yeah, I'll go first there. So I think at the end of the day, you want to add value to the customer, and I think there are two ways of doing that, and probably there's more. But the first one is to reduce the customer's time. So obviously his time is valuable to him because he could be making money or doing other things with it. And secondly is to solve the actual problem and get resolution on the call. If the self-help or the automation bot or whatever solution it is, isn't resolving that problem, I'd suggest then a human steps in straight away to get it resolved ASAP, and maybe also building some sort of prioritization with the issue that the customer is having, so the bot knows, if it's unable to resolve it, it gets escalated straight away for the human to step in.
Okay.
I agree, and I think if we are starting from the marketing perspective, also in the financial field, it's about customer segmentation. To have a very clear definition of the targets group that you have. And there you can experiment and go as deeper as you want. In the end, there's also this concept of segment of one, yeah, where you have in the end only one person that is fulfilling all the criteria that you define for the respective persona. Because yes, each our traits, human traits or specifics, we share with many people, but statistically, if we add all these traits, it does make oneself unique. And then also the combination of the rules that you apply in marketing, but also then in processing different customer support issues. Yes, it's just a matter of how you build these rules, how you understand your customers, so that these rules are built rationally, or yeah, with real results.
Okay, so yeah, so I guess if I am from an old generation and I don't know how to deal with computer or mobile phone, if I am an older person, what do you do then? Do you do the same thing with having a, what's your recommendation? What have you seen to make sure that the older people are part of the journey?
Yeah, so I think, I mean, we have two major client bases where we work. One is more the investment side. So they are our average age, you know, sort of estate planning and things like that. So we're looking at 60 plus. And we felt, so previous to COVID, you know, we actually used to go visit the clients and have conversations with them, you know, very face-to-face interaction. Whereas now, post-COVID, you know, I guess we did battle a bit there, and we had to sort of move away from how we would treat sort of more of the new age generation, you know, via the emails and the chat boxes and things like that. So I think it was a challenge, but I mean, we quickly fitted out all of our employees to be able to make phone calls now via the home working environment. So yeah, I just found that helped a lot.
I think that the best way to address each target group is essential. I was talking in my presentation that we should not digitalize only for its sake. So if we're talking about bots, chatbots, yes, they might help, but not necessarily. If I'm not accustomed to them, it might be easier for me just to have a very well-structured and written FAQ. And then actually giving more possibilities or putting more possibilities at your disposal as a client can help you feel more integrated and react accordingly. And we were talking about many possibilities. My father-in-law is, I think, 73. He uses the Google voice search option. And it's easier, yeah. It does not. You don't have to type. You just push the button with the mic, and then you speak, and then you get it done.
Yeah. I mean, we have so many tools available for So we let's talk about employee productivity. We have still a few more minutes. So we said employee can become more productive through automation, through RPA, all these nice things. But for these employees to become more productive, can they do it by themselves, or do we need to work with, for example, with IT, and for example, to reap the low-hanging fruits, as you was discussed in the past panels, I mean, past speeches. So is IT key, or to start with, or can we avoid IT?
Yeah, I mean, I think Cristian mentioned it in his presentation, you know, that we definitely can avoid IT. I would just suggest making sure that whatever you download and install on your machine is obviously verified by your IT to make sure that you're allowed to have that software, and if potentially your actual company doesn't have a sort of RPA solution already available, but you can definitely bypass them. I think, to the self-teaching generation is definitely upon us now. You can quite easily Google any answer, or there's so much research online and steps on and YouTube videos sort of on how to do things and how to use things. Yeah, so definitely don't need the help of IT. Just on the security side, I would maybe touch base with them.
Yeah. I fully agree. That's why the point of avoiding shadow IT is very important. And yes, in my presentation, I gave you a couple of examples where automations were performed by non-programmers, non-IT people. But it's not only the companies that I worked in. 2 years ago, I was an RPA conference with companies from all over sectors, so also financials, but not only. And I encountered not one, but many companies where the whole RPA approach, the whole RPA initiative was done without programmers. Yes, it was something like 3 months that people had to learn a bit more, so to do some courses, but then it was done with people that are in the process, because automating the process or knowing the process is very important when you automate it. It's a great value that you can bring. And that's why if you just add basic IT know-how, you can work wonders.
Yeah, fully agree. And I think I will discuss that a bit later in my own presentation. The promise of RPA is that you don't need IT to start with, but you still need to be like a geek, for example, Excel macros to be able to start with RPA. So that's why RPA has become so popular. But then to finish up with IT, if you put RPA bots on your PC or on your server, then IT will not be happy, because there will be issues of security and all these good things, because at the end of the day, RPA is a software. So, but we'll discuss that later. Okay, let's see. So how would you, if you want to start automation, and you already mentioned it in your presentation, but let's repeat, what would be your recommendation on how to start automation? So now we are talking about citizen developers, we're talking low code, no code, we don't need to know anything. So if you want to start with automation, what do you recommend?
I think the heart is the most important. So my final point was actually the point where you start. It's just like the classical example where you say you don't have to teach people how to build ships, but make them wander for the unknown, for the trips. So giving the passion within people, access to whatever they need, I think it's very important. But then, of course, people have also to know how to do this. And here is the more or less formal training on that. And getting the management support is, of course, also paramount. How the exactly timing then the steps might be depending on the real situation. So it might be interesting to have a very, very small proof of concept, which you show the management so that they see the value in it, and they allow you to roll out on a larger scale, and possibly also with additional budget. That's some tactics that can be defined based on the specific situation.
Thank you. Fabio.
Yeah, I mean, I agree totally with that. I think the important thing is just to start. And I mean, start small, but just start and start exploring and playing around with stuff. I love the proof of concept ideas. You know, if you want to, for starters, build something, you know, in Excel, PowerPoint, whatever it is, there's Microsoft Power Automate, which is pretty cool. You know, but I mean, read up on look at those self-tutorial videos. You know, and there's some free RPA software that
you're right. There's so much with the vendors. I mean, you know, you mentioned the 3 big vendors for RPA. If you go on their website, I mean, you can teach yourself how to start, and you have brochures. It's amazing. It's amazing. Okay, I think for the sake of time, we are going to stop here. We have no further questions.